Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Real Talk here on Shelbyville Now. I'm David Thomas. This is Bo Gill.
Hello, hello.
We're here to just chew the fat and talk about what's going on. We're not here to report the news.
No.
We're here to talk about it.
No, we're here to talk about it. It's
All right.
real talk.
All right.
We talk
now, there's
about
something
the news.
that's probably slipped through the cracks that hadn't been reported, and you had a interesting discussion with somebody that actually works with the city.
Sure does.
And I've got one of these phone calls that's going to probably sell me a new roof.
You might need to get that in
for me,
especially if you don't know.
I need a new roof, but I don't know. Everybody's getting these stupid calls. They're wanting to give you a loan. And they say push 9 to come off our list. Oh. I push 9. I'm so tired of looking at the 9 button.
You're
I don't
on
know
the
what
list.
to do.
Yeah.
I'm there.
It's
I don't know, how do you get them to stop?
You don't. There's a don't call list, but good luck for that work.
There's nobody enforcing it.
It should be illegal.
These people are from India or Pakistan or Malaysia or Nigeria. And they're sitting over there laughing because there's no law that's going to stop this.
They just call from another.
I mean, I'm at the point now where I don't even want a cell phone.
Yeah.
To send smoke signals, bro.
Yeah, let's do it. I can do it. I can read them.
Or just get some walkie-talkies and talk back and forth. Somebody will be tapping into
they'll
that.
They'll tap in, but that's okay. They'll tap in.
It's terrible, though.
But yeah, I did have a good conversation.
This goes to our local cemetery up at
Willowmount Cemetery.
And the city is responsible for taking care of that. Ben Chapman is oversees that. Tell us about your conversation.
Yeah. Ben Chapman is the sexton. That is the term of the overseer.
Right.
And that's something I learned not too long ago. But he is the sexton.
Okay, let's say that SEXTON.
Yes, the sexton.
I'm gonna write that down so I'll know going forward.
Yeah, you will, because that's something we don't all learn.
I didn't learn that.
When the mayor said, "Where's the sexton at?" I thought, "Wow, somebody goes by the name of the sexton."
Well,
that's
there
pretty
used
cool.
to be some people in town were named. Their last name was Sexton.
There are some.
We went to church with.
There are some
years ago. Yeah.
But when they said the sexton, I thought, "Wow, this person's important. A wrestler or something."
Right. So he's the guy that's in charge.
He is in charge. He's in charge. He oversees Willowmount Cemetery. And I believe that's, I don't think but that's a large cemetery. That's right there off of Lane Parkway, right beside Calvary Baptist Church.
I got this. I'm being halfway joking here. Cemeteries. We got 2 or 3 cemeteries around Bo, and it's a lot of land. I'm just wondering when the developers are going to want to come in, dig up all the bodies and build houses.
Well, I don't know, because the
scares me.
It does scare you. And you know what? With the price of the land now, I wouldn't, negotiations though are dead there. They're really, they are.
Well, I got 4 lots up there. Wonder what I can get for them.
Oh, well, you could ask a few developers. I'm sure they would try to, gather a few together, but it's getting. You
think we get sewer lined in up there? Let's talk to Ben about it.
Oh yeah. Ben will get that.
I'm just teasing around. You go back, but you talked to Ben.
I did talk to Ben, and I see Ben a lot. He's at a lot of the city meetings. He's just a friendly,
great guy.
Yeah. So he said, he came up and he said, "Bo, I want to tell you some good news." And I said, "Okay, good news. I don't get to hear a lot of good news." I said, "I want to hear some good news." He said, "I got some people helping me at the cemetery now, because I know weed eating's weed eating. There's a lot of jobs."
They're doing it with what, 2 people?
Yes, I think so. 2 people, and him and another guy. And during the summer,
they're bombed.
I mean, you think about that. So I think he said it takes close to a week and a half to go
all the way around. Yeah.
So he got some new employees, and he got new employees after negotiating and talking with our chief deputy, Nakia Elliott, and they have came to I guess some type of an agreement to where Ben at the cemetery gets 3 inmates, and he gets
they're called trustees.
Trustees, yes. They have to go through
another
and certain they have to meet certain requirements. These trustees, they're not just in jail. They're usually nonviolent offenders. Right. A lot of times, just
the name trustee says they're trustworthy,
and they are. And he needed, this help, and minimum wage is not cheap nowadays. Let's be honest. I mean, just hiring one person would be good. But he got to deal with Nakia Elliott to share during work hours. It's just normal work hours, to where they weed eat. They do things. It's not just weed eating. There's picking up trash and new flowers that get old and blow away. There's a lot of trash cans out there that need emptied. It's a pretty big job. I know my dad, he takes care of one in Petersburg, our old Orchard Cemetery, and he's on the board there, and there's a lot of work there. And look, you're dealing with people at probably some of their lowest times. They've lost a loved one,
right,
and you have to be able to I probably say there's some counseling involved. Ben does, and that's why a good person like him is involved. But no, he says, "Bo, we've got these employees, and they've been so dedicated. They've been there every day of course, because they've got to unless they're sick. They can't just not show up. But he said that they bring. He sees him helping. He sees that they are getting in a new routine.
Right.
Stepping back in that new routine. He says sometimes they say that's what got me here is getting out of that routine and just think, and it kind of gives them a sense of self-worth. But the county and the city, we hear a lot about, well, they don't agree. They don't get, well, here's some real world stuff that's going on right now. The city and the county has a working relationship to where they are saving. And let me, before I talk about the money, the city, this is totally funded by the city, that cemetery, Ben and whoever helped, and the county doesn't contribute. There's a lot of people from the county that get buried in there. And this right here is a contribution from the county to the city. I mean, they're getting $3 per day per inmate. And plus, I think the city has to buy the food or provide some type of food for them. But that's like a giveaway.
Oh yeah, it is free. It's free.
That's free.
So it's good to see this.
And they want to get out. These inmates want to be there. They want to be a trustee. They want to get out. They get to work all day. They love it. And yes, I think that's a good story. And I know that it really helped him. And a guy like him, he's also capitalizing on getting to interact with these by
having a positive influence.
That's exactly right. So I just say tip my hat to the county and the city in that regard.
Well, yeah, because everything else appears to be falling apart. This is one good story in the middle of it.
It does.
And since you mentioned the sheriff's department, Bo, we have two candidates right now that have been identified to run for sheriff. Both now work in the current sheriff's department. We've got Nakia Elliott and we've got John Sweeney. Seems like both of them are two really good guys, and probably both of them would do really good jobs.
Yes.
And in light of that, we've got the election coming up next August, I think it is. So we got some time. We got almost, well, not quite a year, 10 months, 11 months. Yeah. No, 10 months.
Yeah.
Under a year. It's going to start kicking into gear after first year as far as campaign and so forth for our election. Yeah. So we got these two guys that are running for sheriff. What do you feel like some of the top things, the top projects that a new sheriff would need to take on after they get in office, after a period of like a long period from the previous sheriff? And that's a lot of things have changed in our county since Austin took over the sheriff's position. I he been there 12 or 16 years.
2014 maybe was his first year. 12,
I think he goes back further than that.
It might have, but he's been there over 10 years.
It's 12 years, I think. So let's think about the change that's happened in Beverly County in 12 years. A lot's changed. Man, it's like a different place. So what do you see, and what do you guys out there see as some of the number one challenges for our sheriff's department? And that includes our jail.
A lot of people don't forget about that. Do forget about that. The sheriff's department, yes, you're responsible for a department of deputies that are out serving the people, serving and protecting. But you've also got this jail here, this house of criminals, of people that have been charged and convicted. And what I forgot the number, but it's over 150, I believe. I mean, you got
food. In jail, it's a lot more than that.
Yeah, maybe
our capacity is 400. I think we're up in the threes. Josh has got those.
Yeah,
numbers.
He's got those numbers. And
Josh, if you're watching, do you know how many we have currently housed in the jail? You can post it there if you can.
But that's a big responsibility, and I think that I don't see them picking up trash as much as they used to. I mean, I think that
this goes back to your trustee thing.
Yes, and I think that that's kind of maybe a way for them to start using the trustee program more. We did have a workhouse here. Look, we know that the jail is crowded. I mean, crime is a problem. It's not only in Bedford County; it's all over. Yeah, but I think, getting back to your question, that's going to have to be a major focus for the sheriff. And I believe both of these candidates are well qualified for the sheriff, especially for the jail, because I know that John Sweeney, that's where he started, was in the jail. I mean, that holds a special place to him, not just because to build it up and everything. He wants these inmates not to come back.
Okay, Josh just came in 360 or so currently in the jail. That's a lot of inmates.
That's a lot.
And I know some of those are state inmates and some are from other counties, but it's still a big responsibility. No matter where they're from, there's still people in there.
Yes.
So you got crowd control to deal with.
Oh, yes.
But let's focus, Bo, on the things, the trends that are taking place in our society that stresses maybe a sheriff's department or maybe it's different now than it was 12 years ago.
Mhm.
I'm going to say the drug problem that we have in Bedford County is still as prevalent or more prevalent today than now than it was 12 years ago, and it's different now. It's different types of drugs that are out there that we're talking about. 12 years ago, we weren't talking about fentanyl.
No,
we were talking about cocaine and meth.
yes.
Now we're talking about those things laced with fentanyl.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Pills that are laced.
and this gets a lot onto the drug task force that we have for this district. How our sheriff and our city police interact with the drug task force. So there's got to be some sort of I'm not saying a change, but I mean it's changed in 12 years.
Here's something else that's changed in 12 years is our population. And it seems that the population of the drug task force and most of the sheriff's office has stayed the same and hasn't grown with that. And nobody likes to spend money on county or taxpayer money. But if you're going to spend taxpayer money, I would suggest to beef up that force, because when you've got a limited number on the force, that's what you have. And let's look at the 17th Judicial Drug Task Force. They cover 3 counties, multiple counties.
Yeah.
And I know by talking to some law enforcement just recently that Lewisburg, Marshall County is a hotbed for drugs right now.
Well, it is here too,
and it is here.
We're a hotbed.
But so you know,
everywhere's a hotbed.
They need help. They need they need public help because they rely on the public.
All right.
Help.
Well, honestly, when you start looking at it, you know, I've talked to some of the deputies, and we probably got a couple of them watching today, and they might elaborate on this. I know at any given time we might have 4 or 5 patrolmen out. They're single by themselves, 1 patrolman per car. And we've only got 4 or 5 covering a large land area. And if you get a call where it takes 2 or 3, then you've got a void on the other side of the county if you're having to go and handle that. So how do you disperse more officers and kind of keep it to where it's affordable? Do we have, and this could be, I've always heard this, that we've got more people housed at the judicial center for guards and just the administrative stuff that are deputized are sitting there that could be out in the field. I'm wondering how much of that could change. Could we shift and get these cars rolling?
Maybe so. And maybe the new sheriffs have an idea for that. That's something that I would like to hear something from them. But I do know that I've noticed something is some of the deputies sitting closer to the city. And I kind of like seeing that visual. But after thinking about it, I would think maybe they probably would be more ideal to be more centered in their quadrant or whatever, you know, because you have more in the city. Although I would say you get more crime from the city, and
we got city police here.
Yeah.
I mean, you got, and even though the county has jurisdiction in the city because we're in the county,
they do.
You divide up. You look at 231 and 41A. They kind of cross like this.
That's your quadrant
as you're looking. And I would say there's a quadrant. It's a natural quadrant for you.
Yes,
we need to have maybe 1 designated to each, and I'm just shooting. And 2 Roman to help.
At least central.
I mean, 6 minimum. I mean,
at least centrally located. But they do get a lot of cooperation, I know, from neighboring county, Rutherford County, Marshall County. A lot of times, you know, they're just shorthanded, and I know that they have good relationships. I've talked to city cops and county, and they say that they have good coordination with the city when they need it, and with surrounding counties. So, I mean, law enforcement, they watch each other's back.
You look at Dylan Whitaker, what he said. We just need 2 diversions and we could rob the bank, it sounds like.
Yeah,
I mean, we do have a couple of branches of banks in our county, not in the city.
But we've
got one at Unionville.
Yeah.
And we got one out north of town here.
We do. Community. I mean, and those are just rural how it is, but don't discount the undercover and the off-duty presence of police here in Bedford County and sheriffs and in Shelbyville. And there are a lot of armed individuals here. So I would say,
I'm sure. That, I mean,
it would.
Hey, I wouldn't want to walk in a bank anywhere in Bedford County and pull a gun and expect to walk out of there without a limp.
And it wouldn't be a police officer shoot you.
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So, but you know, I don't think you could. I think there's a good coordinated effort with citizens to protect each other, because look, we know, just like every other county, just like most cities that are overpopulated, we're outgrowing our infrastructure, and infrastructure happens to be police and EMS and fire. But that's just the true reality. And how do you get those funds to add those deputies, or like you said, can you rethink your department and use some of those resources you have currently in the office
and that's
and
going
get
to
them out
be
on the
that's going to
road?
be have to come from one of these guys that know.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that Benji might be out there.
He'll
And
probably he'll think about it later if he's not. He'll throw us a comment.
And I'm just wondering if there's somebody to way to restructure our shift
Yeah.
somehow, so we could have at least 6. But I think one other thing too that's vanished, and I don't hear much about it anywhere, but there used to be something called Neighborhood Watch.
Yeah.
And it wasn't for the city, which they did have them in the city. I can remember that back in the 90s at Brookhaven. There was a Neighborhood Watch.
They had the signs.
Yeah, they had signs up. But what about these outlying communities like Bell Buckle? They got a police officer, of course.
They do.
In then War Trace, Normandy, and you got Union.
I don't know if they're full time.
No, and it's mainly volunteer stuff or low hour time. All those areas could have neighborhood watches to where you have some men that are like, okay, we're going to watch things close and we're going to communicate with one another and talk about things, talk about our weak areas and watch what's going on and report it to the sheriff's department and be the first line of defense. Because let's be honest, the sheriff cannot be the first line of defense.
No,
it's got to be us.
It takes us. And you're exactly right. And I know that our neighboring county, Marshall County, in Petersburg, they have their city council in their small town. They voted to do without the police department there, which Matthew Griffey was a part of there. And so now they've came up with some type of neighborhood watch. But I know that the county is having to have an officer kind of in that area, and it's
put a strain on them. Yeah. But I think to fantasize that our sheriff's department can be there when a crime's taking place is a joke. That's not happening. They're going to come and make a report as quick as they can. They're going to come and assess the situation, make sure things are safe, and then they're going to have to write a report up as to what happened. Okay. But if you have to call them, if you call 911 and you're in the county and there's something drastic happen, you need to be prepared because they ain't got time unless they're just happen to be right by your house, which is very unlikely.
And it could happen, but and it also could happen where it's still an active scene when they get there, and they're going to take care of business. But we'll tell you, it's just, common knowledge. They can't predict where the next event's going to happen.
And Amanda, you come in and you say that there are some neighborhoods where the police do patrol. We're talking about, I guess we could even talk about city too.
Yeah.
There's not enough manpower either place.
What we're talking about is an independent neighborhood watch where neighbors get together and they either through email or whatever, and they say, see something, say something. And it's loosely based. It's board or committee.
However, I've seen them organized both.
Oh, they're very organized. No,
they like, hey, me and you, we're going to be out roaming the streets tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody at 3:00 is going to come out and pick up the baton, especially at night. There's actually in that neighborhood watch program, there have been people out watching things, especially in areas where there's a lot of robbery, a lot of activity. Yes. Out in the county, we don't have much, but man, you hear of stuff all the time.
Yeah. And they are, out on their own, and they do need, so it always leads to that old saying that I say again, you see something, say something, don't let it go. If you think something's not right, it's okay. They respond to calls all the time that are false, but they have to respond.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of times sometimes it isn't.
It's a diversion.
Yeah.
Well, something else is going on. Just like what Dylan was saying here.
Yes.
You could pretty much guarantee that if there's something active going on your property, that the chances of the sheriff's department getting there and catching the perpetrator is probably about the same odds of getting struck by lightning, because it's just impossible the way they're strung out.
Yeah. And that's why, now cell phones come in good for taking pictures if you're out of danger. And that way you can give that officer as much information as you can on if there's a suspect involved. But, really, reality, you're right. Unless they're really close, let's say if they're way out in Flat Creek, and there's an officer in the Flat Creek area, but he's closer to maybe, town. It's going to take him several minutes to get out there.
It's over.
And that's just the way it is. And we can't afford to have a sheriff on every road.
Something else I'd like to see our new sheriff do, possibly, and this is just a thought, maybe do some sort of campaign to encourage deterrence, like Ring cameras on your doorbells.
Oh yeah.
You can also get other Ring cameras that are associated with floodlights.
Yes. That
will actually record motion detector floodlights, that type thing. Because usually 9 times out of 10, if somebody's going to come trespassing or attempting to break in your home and it triggers a floodlight, they're out of there. Okay. So
you're right. That's one of the biggest tools I think right now in crime prevention. And yet people still commit crimes. There's a good chance that whenever I get in my car and I'm going to be caught on somebody's camera somewhere. You're going to be caught. So, I mean, but people still do it. And I guess they're desperate.
You get some people that are whacked out on meth. They don't know the light come on or not. But
the lights aren't on.
But they know they're going to try to get something and steal it so that they can go get some money to buy some more drugs. So, and that's a sad situation, but it's the world we live.
Yeah, but that speaking of deterrence, that is a good deterrent. And in neighborhood watch, especially in a densely neighborhood, I've seen some on roads. I've seen this road is protected by a neighborhood watch program. I'm out and about in other counties, and I've seen these signs and such. Okay. And I think that helps. I mean, that kind of tells me, hey, that they're not messing around here.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Something that goes along these lines is the flock camera program.
Yes.
Which the county has purchased. They voted to purchase. Now it's time for these to be implemented.
Yep.
There was some discussion about a lot of questions that people have. What happens to the data when it's recorded? Where does it go? Is it hackable? That type stuff. That's security questions. I think most everybody is on board with the flock cameras from what I hear. I've talked to people. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. But if they record you, where does that information go? That's a good question.
And it is a good question. I'm surprised. I guess, did they not have a flock representative at their committee meeting? Because the city had, I don't know if they use Flock or the other brand, but they had the representative from that company there, and the city council got to grill them. And that was one of the questions they asked was how long?
Well, it's stored in the cloud.
It's stored in the cloud, and it says for 30 days, but nothing is my old rule is nothing is deleted.
Don't believe anything.
Nothing will ever be deleted.
Yeah. That's just so how much information is it collecting? Off of a driver's license plate, which these things read. It can automatically detect that it reads that plate. It goes into a database. Okay. So when you're driving by this thing, whether it's looking for you or not, it's pulling this data. Okay. And it's building the database. And they know whose tag this is registered to. They know the address. I mean, there's all this stuff that can compile with
a lot of cities are having these, and I didn't know this is something that I learned. Lowe's, every Lowe's has one of these cameras in their entrance, and it's something that they tell if you've been abducted, say go to Lowe's and they can get
Well, let me tell you another thing.
Something that they use.
The self checkout has got a camera on it too.
Yeah, they know.
They're watching you.
I know. Okay, we're being watched.
Our credit card goes in.
Yeah.
Okay, if we use a credit card and there's a picture associated with that credit card, think about that.
Yeah. No, I don't. That's too much for my mind to absorb.
Man. There's some crazy stuff going on.
Well, there is a lot of, what I feel like a lot of times we sign away our rights or our privacy, and for the enjoyment of a time-saving device or something. A lot of times we give away, and we got to think about that when we check that. Do you agree?
That little chip on those cards, they're one day going to be installed under your skin somewhere.
Well, they won't. They're going to have under my cold dead skin.
Okay,
I guess.
Let's talk about, you were talking about giving up rights and stuff, and I don't want to open up a can of worms, but you can look back and see what the American people are willing to put up with. If you look back at COVID,
yes,
we wore a diaper on our face. I didn't.
I saw a diaper the other day.
I didn't do it.
Somebody had one on the other day.
I didn't do it.
No.
And they told you that we're going to stick this needle in your arm. We're going to shoot stuff in it, and you got to have it done. Yeah. I didn't get that done either.
Me neither. I did not do that, and here I am. I know it was a serious. I'm not trying to discount the virus.
It existed,
and people died from it.
Well, yeah, people died from it, but it's because they didn't treat us.
Yeah, they didn't.
There wasn't a treatment, but there was a treatment.
And if the respirator came out, then it was ball game.
Is
that what it was?
The respirator go down somebody's throat, they're dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
And very few people.
You're exactly right, though. That's where we got that from. And nowadays, even if you go into the hospital to sign something, I've got a family member that had a surgery, and just to go in there now, he's getting all these calls talking about the privacy again. So apparently, they sold his information while he was trying to get the surgery.
Who do you trust, Bo?
I don't trust anybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, that's just. That's
a good policy. That's a good policy.
It is. follow up.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Oh man,
it's
don't get me
tough
started.
nowadays,
It
and I don't
is.
know what to
It's-
believe. And then you got AI, and you got this and that. Look, let's do our research. I think common sense goes a long way. Human common sense, not AI.
Right. But common
common
sense
sense.
is at a shortage right now,
Yes,
big time.
it's waning, but I have hopes. I've said before, I have hopes for our next generation. I'm trying to instill some common sense in my daughter, but she bites back at it a lot.
I
But that's
know,
okay.
I
I'm
know.
saying it. Keep saying it. Keep drilling those just
There's
values.
some of
Yeah.
these kids that sunk in on, and those are the ones that will be those that step up and take the next generation on.
We have to step up. We have to stay plugged in, and if we have to say something, we look. A lot of times we've been this silent majority, right, of conservatives or of like-minded individuals.
And I don't
It's
even want to say
time
it's conservative
to not-
anymore. It's just common sense.
Yeah,
man.
but it's time to be unsilent.
Oh,
I mean, we have to say something. We have to say something now, because the other side, boy, they say a lot, and most of it don't make sense.
none of it. makes
And
sense.
we have to rebut that with truth, right? I mean, we have
That's
to
it. I
on
mean,
an
this-
everyday basis.
Well, last week, Bo, and this is something else. We got to get out of here after this. Last week they retired the mint that minted, well, not the mint, but the machinery and all that
Oh.
stuff that minted the pennies. So
Don't-
no more pennies.
Don't break my heart.
And if you notice, there's a sign already going up everywhere. Kroger's, I saw it there. I saw it at another business, chain store. All the local people seem to have pennies, you know.
Oh, pennies are abundant.
But the chain stores don't know where to get them. And I got 1,000,000 of them if they want them.
Yeah, I've got.
you
Hey, I'm
know.
gonna hold on to my pennies. You think? I mean, I don't know. I think they overproduce, though. Do you think?
But that's the end of the penny.
Yeah, the
I'm
penny's
already
gone.
starting to see people round up. Always up,
Never.
never down. It's always up.
Hey, if something costs a penny, then it's free, because I round down, and I give them the 2 pennies just for a good time.
So if you go, there's no bubble gum that's 3 cents
I
anymore.
know.
It's like
The penny really-
25 cents.
Yeah,
now.
the penny does get in the way, but it is relevant. I use the penny. I use cash, and when I want correct change, and it's $1.98, I produce those 3 pennies. I like it. You know, pennies are shiny. They're the only copper. Think about it. They're the only
Hey, Tamara.
copper we got. Now we have no more copper.
Tamara Price has got
Hello,
in here
Tamara.
on the tail end. You might want to go back and watch some of this. We're getting ready to get out of here.
Yeah.
Good conversation today,
Very
Bo.
good,
We're
very
going to
good.
talk again Thursday. There's going to be some stuff happening over the next 2 or 3 days
Oh, yes.
that I'm sure we'll always talk about.
Yes, we will.
And after the last Bedford County Commission meeting, we talked about it Saturday morning, but it's starting to sink in what's taking place with the wastewater committee. I'm hoping to see some things develop. Maybe we can talk a little bit about that.
Yes.
And
sure.
some other things that are going on locally.
Yeah,
But
I'm
we're going
hoping
to
it's
get out of
moving.
here. Thanks for everybody's interaction. And
Thank y'all.
if there's any topic you would like for us to discuss, just put it in our
Let
chat
us know.
or send us a private message on our Facebook
Yes.
page. and
Thanks
we'd
for
be
your
happy.
comments and everything. We
Yeah.
always appreciate it. We do. We
Yeah.
really do appreciate your viewership. Let us know. Let us know.
And we'll be back on Thursday. Y'all
Yes,
have a
sir.
good